The autumn rain fell softly on the cobblestones of Kensington Palace as Princess Diana walked through the dimly lit corridors. It was late October 1995, and the weight of her troubled marriage to Prince Charles had become unbearable. The media scrutiny, the constant public appearances, and the loneliness within the royal walls had taken their toll on the beloved princess. Guard. Thomas Mitchell had been stationed at Kensington Palace for nearly 8 years. He was a quiet man, in his 40s, dedicated to his duty and known for his discretion. Unlike many of his colleagues who maintained strict professional distance, Thomas had always shown genuine concern for the royal family's well-being. He noticed things others missed: the sadness in Diana's eyes during public events, the way she would pause in empty hallways as if gathering strength. On this particular evening, Thomas was completing his rounds when he saw Diana standing alone in the Rose Garden courtyard. She wore a simple, cream-colored sweater and dark trousers, her golden hair slightly damp from the mist. Something about her posture told him she was struggling. The princess who charmed millions with her radiant smile seemed fragile and lost. In that moment, Diana had always been different from the other royals. She remembered the staff's names, asked about their families, and treated everyone with genuine kindness. Thomas recalled how she had sent flowers when his mother was in the hospital, and how she always made time to speak with the newer guards who were nervous about their duties, as Thomas approached to ensure her safety. Diana turned around. Her eyes were red from crying, but she managed a weak smile. "Thomas," she said softly, "I didn't hear you coming." He stopped at a respectful distance, concerned by her obvious distress. The princess had faced many challenges in the public eye, but tonight felt different. There was a vulnerability about her that made Thomas realize she needed someone to simply listen. "Your Royal Highness, are you all right?" Thomas asked gently, his years of training telling him to maintain protocol while his human instincts urged him to offer comfort. Diana looked around the empty courtyard, then back at the guard who had shown her nothing but respect and kindness over the years. That moment she made a decision that would change both their lives forever. Diana stepped closer to Thomas, her voice barely above a whisper. "Thomas, may I ask you something personal?" The guard nodded, sensing the importance of the moment. "Do you have children?" she asked. Thomas smiled slightly. "Yes, Your Highness. 2 daughters, ages 12 and 14. Diana's face softened with genuine interest. "What are their names?" "Emma and Sarah," he replied, wondering where this conversation was leading. "They must be proud of their father," Diana said, her voice carrying a note of sadness. "Do they know how lucky they are to have someone who truly cares about them?" Thomas felt confused by the question, but answered honestly, "I hope so, Your Royal Highness. I try to be there for them, to listen when they need me." Diana looked down at her hands, then back up at Thomas with tears threatening to spill over. "Thomas, I need to tell someone something, and I trust you more than anyone else right now." The guard felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. Whatever the princess was about to share, he knew it was significant. "I've been living a lie for so many years," Diana began, her voice trembling. "Everyone sees the fairy tale princess, the woman who has everything. But the truth is, I feel more alone now than I ever did before my marriage." Thomas remained silent, understanding that she needed to speak without interruption. Diana continued. "The palace walls that protect us also imprison us. I can't have a normal conversation with anyone without wondering if they're recording it, or if they'll sell the story to the newspapers. I can't trust anyone completely, except—" She paused, looking directly at Thomas. "Except people like you, who see me as a person, not just a title." The rain began to fall harder, but neither of them moved toward shelter. Diana seemed relieved. To finally voice her feelings to someone who wouldn't judge her or use her words against her, Thomas realized that his role as a guard had evolved into something much more important. He was perhaps the only person who could offer the princess the simple gift of human understanding without any hidden agenda. As they stood in the misty courtyard, Diana's composure began to crumble. "Thomas, can I share something with you that I've never told anyone?" she whispered, her voice breaking. The guard nodded solemnly, understanding the profound trust she was placing in him. "Sometimes late at night, I sit in my room and wonder what would have happened if I had never married Charles. What if I had remained Diana Spencer, working with children, living a simple life? Thomas watched as the princess he had protected for years revealed the depth of her pain. I love my boys more than life itself, she continued, speaking of William and Harry. But I worry constantly about what this royal life is doing to them. They see the arguments, the coldness, the way their father and I can barely stand to be in the same room. The guard felt his heart ache for this woman, who gave so much joy to others while carrying such private sorrow. Your Royal Highness, he said carefully. May I speak freely? Diana nodded eagerly. Your sons see something else too. They see a mother who loves them unconditionally, who hugs them when the cameras aren't rolling, who makes them laugh. That's what they'll remember. Diana smiled through her tears. Do you really think so, Thomas? Sometimes I feel like I'm failing. Them failing everyone who believes in me. She wrapped her arms around herself as the evening grew colder. The charitable work helps. When I hold those sick children, or comfort families who have lost everything, I remember why I'm here. But then I come back to this place, and I feel so empty. Thomas made a decision that went against his training but felt absolutely right. Your Royal Highness, you're not failing anyone. I've watched you for 8 years, and I've seen how you treat people. You remember my daughter's names. You asked about my wife when she was ill. You make every person you meet feel important. That's not something someone can fake. Diana looked at him with surprise and gratitude. Thank you for saying that, Thomas. But there's something else I need to tell you, something that's been weighing on my heart. She took a deep breath, preparing to share the secret that had been consuming her thoughts for months. Diana glanced around nervously, then moved even closer to Thomas, her voice dropping to barely audible. Thomas, I'm going to do something that will shock the world. I've made a decision that could change everything, not just for me, but for the monarchy itself. The guard felt a chill that had nothing to do with the evening air. Whatever she was about to reveal, he sensed it was monumental. I've agreed to give a television interview, Diana whispered, a completely honest interview where I'll tell my side of the story. No palace advisors, no approved questions, no script. It's just me, speaking truthfully about my marriage, my life, my struggles. Thomas's eyes widened in understanding of the magnitude of what she was describing. Your Royal Highness, he said carefully. Are you certain about this decision? The consequences could be... ... double quotes. Diana interrupted him gently. Severe? Yes, I know. Charles will be furious, the Queen will be devastated, and the palace will try to destroy me for it. But Thomas, I can't continue living this lie. The public deserves to know the truth about their fairy tale princess. She began pacing in the small courtyard, her nervous energy evident. For 15 years I've been told what to say, how to act, who to befriend, even how to raise my own children. I've watched Charles continue his relationship with Camilla while I was expected to smile and pretend everything was perfect. I've been treated like a beautiful ornament rather than a human being with thoughts and feelings. Thomas listened intently, understanding that she needed someone to hear her reasoning, to validate that she wasn't making this decision rashly. The interview will air in a few weeks, she continued. I've already recorded it, and there's no going back now. I told the truth about my marriage, about Charles's affair, about my own struggles with bulimia and depression. I even spoke about my own relationships. The princess stopped pacing and looked directly at Thomas. I'm terrified, but I'm also free for the first time in years. Whatever happens next, at least the world will know that I tried to be honest, that I fought for my truth. Thomas realized he was witnessing history in the making, and more importantly, he was seeing a woman find her courage in the face of impossible circumstances. Thomas felt the weight of Diana's confession settling over him. Your Royal Highness, he said quietly, why are you telling me this? Surely there are others, advisors or friends, ... Diana shook her head sadly. That's just it, Thomas. I have no real friends here. Everyone has an agenda. Everyone reports back to someone. The advisors serve the palace first, not me. My family was pushed away years ago. The only people I can trust are those who ask nothing from me except to be human. She sat down on a stone bench, looking suddenly exhausted. You know what the worst part is? Still love Charles, or at least I love the man I thought he was when we first met. But he never loved me. Not really. I was selected to be the mother of future kings, nothing more. Our entire courtship was orchestrated by others. Thomas found himself sitting beside her, protocol forgotten in the face of her raw honesty. "Remember when you were first married?" he said gently. The whole world was celebrating. "You look so happy in those photographs," Diana laughed bitterly. I was happy, but I was also 19 and incredibly naive. I thought love would grow between us, that we would become a real family. Instead, I learned that Camilla never left the picture, that I was essentially the other woman in my own marriage. The princess wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "Do you know what Charles said to me on our honeymoon? He told me he didn't know what love meant. Can you imagine hearing that from your new husband?" Thomas felt anger rising in his chest at the casual cruelty she had endured. "But my boys," Diana continued, her voice warming, "they've made everything worthwhile. William and Harry are my greatest achievement, my greatest joy. I've tried so hard to give them as normal a childhood as possible within these circumstances. I take them to McDonald's, 2 theme parks. I let them play with other children. The palace hates it, but I won't let them grow up as isolated as Charles did." She looked at Thomas with determination in her eyes. "That's another reason for the interview. I want my sons to know, when they're older, that their mother fought for them, fought for truth, fought to change this outdated system that values duty over humanity. I may not be around to explain it to them myself someday, but at least they'll have my words." As the rain began to ease, Diana stood up from the bench, seeming somehow lighter despite the heavy conversation. "Thomas, I need you to promise me something," she said, taking his hands in hers. A gesture that broke every royal protocol but felt completely natural. "If something happens to me, if the palace tries to paint me as unstable or vengeful after the interview airs, I want you to remember this conversation. Remember that I was calm, that I was thinking clearly, that I made this choice out of love. For my sons and respect for the truth." Thomas felt a chill of premonition at her words. "Your Royal Highness, surely you don't think..." ... double quotes. Diana squeezed his hands gently. Thomas. "But I do know that powerful people don't like it when someone threatens their carefully constructed narratives. I'm about to become very inconvenient for a lot of important people." She released his hands and stepped back. Once again, the composed princess, but now Thomas could see the steel beneath her gentle exterior. "I want you to know that these past few minutes, talking with you honestly, have meant more to me than years of state dinners and public appearances. You've reminded me that there are still good people in this world, people who see past titles and crowns to the human being underneath." Thomas struggled to find words adequate for the moment. "Your Royal Highness, it has been an honor to serve you, but more than that, it's been a privilege to witness your courage. Your sons will indeed be proud of their mother." Diana smiled. The first genuine smile he had seen from her all evening. "The interview will change everything," she said, walking toward the palace entrance. "After it airs, I'll no longer be the fairy tale princess. I'll be the woman who dared to tell the truth about the fairy tale. Some will hate me for it, but others might find hope in my story. Maybe other women trapped in impossible situations will find the strength to speak their truth too." As they reached the door, Diana turned back to Thomas one final time. "Thank you for listening, for not judging, for treating me like a person instead of a princess. In a world full of people who want something from me, you asked for nothing except to understand. That is the greatest gift anyone has given me in years." With those words, she disappeared into the palace, leaving Thomas standing in the courtyard, forever changed by the encounter and carrying the weight of her trust. He would never forget the night Princess Diana chose him as the keeper of her truth, the witness to her courage, and the guardian of her humanity in a world that had tried so hard to take it away.